This week's Preppin Data Challenge is a real challenge and a half. So I'm going to be separating the solution out into 3 different videos, and the first one's going to cover how to calculate this rank for each team. And to do that, we need to know how much they've won, how much they've lost, and what win percentage there is for each team. And then we'll rank based on this win percentage. So this is the full solution, but don't worry, I'm just going to be going through this top bit in the video at the moment. So first of all, I've just done a wildcard union to bring in all of the different results from the different months. So that's just saying wildcard. If it ends in results, then bring it in and union it together. And we're not taking through the file paths because we don't really need to know that information. That would just tell us about it being from what sheet and what file it's from. And we kind of got that information already contained in the date. So this is sort of what we're looking at. We've got a row for each match and who won, or the score, sorry, of each match. We'll have to kind of do a little calculation to work out who won it. And so that's the level of detail of our data that we're working with at the moment. We've got games that are played in the future, so the fixtures almost, so we don't have any points associated with them. So we're going to want to exclude these matches by just kind of clicking on our null one saying exclude those values, and we're just going to get rid of a few extra columns as well, so that we're left with only the ones that will be important. So the first thing we're going to do is try and calculate the wins and the losses. So we're just going to use a calculated field that's going to tell us who the winner of each game is. So we've got down here, the PTS is associated with the visitors side. So if the points of the visitors is greater than the points of the home team, then we'll take the visitor as being the winner. Otherwise, we'll take the home team. So then we just get a list of different teams who have won that match. And we do a similar thing for the losers. And then we're just going to do an aggregation step where we aggregate up and group by our winners. So then we have 30 rows because there are 30 teams. And we just want to do a count of how many rows are associated with each team. And that will tell us how many times they've won. Similarly, how many times they've lost. And if we join those back together, then we get all the different information that we need about wins and losses. We'll also join in our teams at this stage, just so that we have the information about which conference they're in, which is important, because in our solution, we're going to have separate outputs for each conference. And then one more thing that we're going to do before we can calculate that ranking of our teams is we need the win percentage. So that's quite a simple calculation of just number of wins over the total number of games, which is wins plus losses. And we're just using a round function to round that to 3 decimal places because that's what the output is. So now comes the ranking step. And this is done in a slightly funny way if you haven't seen it before. So we're going to be ranking based on the win percentage. So the highest win percentage will be ranked number 1. And therefore, we're going to join this step back onto itself. And so we're basically joining the same table together. But if you did this with just an equal sign for the percentage, then you'd still end up with 30 rows. You'd basically just be like duplicating the tables side by side. So you'd have 12 fields and 30 rows still. There wouldn't be a lot of point to that. But Tableau Prep is really cool because you can do a different join calculation. So to get to that stage, we're just going to add an empty cleaning step. We're going to drag that next to, like, backwards in our flow to join, and then you'll see that it creates this join here. Now, you aren't going to want the automatic join clause that they create, but instead we're going to use a different operator here in our join clause. So we're joining the percent to the percent, which is what we want to do. But we're saying that basically for a team that is at the top, they're going to have the highest win percentage. So we want them to have 1 row associated with them because we're going to count how many rows are associated with each team, and therefore that'll give us our ranking. So it's a bit confusing to think about conceptually, but it does work in the end. So we're doing a less than or equal to here because we want kind of the highest team to have the lowest rank, the highest win percentage to have the lowest rank, sorry. So if I show you what I mean here, then this is the highest win percentage, and we can see that there's only one row associated with that team. Whereas if we go to the second highest, then we can see there's also one row associated with that team, sorry, because we've also got included in our join the conference, because we don't want to rank across the whole number of teams, because they're in different conferences, so they need a separate ranking for each conference. So whilst this team is top of the Eastern Conference, the Los Angeles Lakers are top of the Western Conference. And then we can see that when we go down to the sort of second highest in that conference, then we've got 2 rows associated with that team. So simply by counting those rows, we can get the ranking. And we're just going to therefore group by all the metrics that we've kind of duplicated the rows of. And then we count the number of rows associated with them, and we can see that we have the rankings. And if we just take a look at that final table where we've calculated all those different 4 metrics that we were trying to do, we can see that we've got our top rated team for the Eastern and Western Conference, and that's really cool. So I hope that made sense, and it's a nifty little trick for how to do ranking in Tableau Prep. Thanks for watching.